Faye doesn't like pasta. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because who doesn't like pasta? Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing okay and everyone is doing well. Welcome back to another week of Love Island reviews. As you know, there was a lot to unpick and also unpack from tonight's episode. So as I usually and I always say, if you haven't yet subscribed, what exactly are you waiting for? You keep coming back to these reviews and you haven't yet subscribed. So please be sure to subscribe if you have not already, but please to get cozy and comfortable with your heart being and your snacks. And I really hope you enjoy the rest of this review. Okie, so let's start off with a follow-up of the previous episode. As you guys know, Jake and Liberty ended up having a chat on the terrace, and Jake was saying, you know, you're my girlfriend, I love you, I've discussed all of that in my last review anyway, so if you haven't yet had a watch, please be sure to. But Liberty of course came down, you know, she wanted to like give the girls a little gist of like all that had happened. And what was quite interesting was like you could see how excited Liberty was to kind of like update the girls of like, oh my gosh guys, Jake told me that he loved me and But the silence that came from everybody, that silence was very loud and also speaking a lot of volumes. And I feel like it was quite interesting how Chloe was kind of like the mouthpiece for all the girls. Like Liberty was like, oh, you know, like he said that he loves me, he said this, you know, smiling and giddy about everything. And then Chloe was like, okay, but don't you think he just told you that because he wants you to hear that? Faye of course ended up leaving, and I low-key do I'm gonna be honest, I low-key do feel like sometimes Faye may suffer from main character syndrome, and that's actually quite a common thing. Quite a few people do. Like it's low-key a skill that they're able to kind of make a situation about them even though it's not really about them. I just don't really know. Like I said, it definitely is a skill. I don't think I suffer from that anyway, so I definitely can't relate. But yeah, Faye ended up walking away, and Chloe and the girls were still just trying to like get into Liberty's head and stuff like that. And then Liberty was just like, oh, like do you think I'm being stupid, or do you think like I've misinterpreted, do you think I've done this and all that type of stuff. I won't lie, I have said it in my previous reviews as well, I do feel like Chloe is 100% growing on me because she was given sound advice and low-key trying to get into Liberty's head to understand that all that he says is not all that you should take. So whatever he says, you shouldn't just take it at face value. But I have said this in all my reviews and I'll continue to say, I think Liberty's a very sweet girl. I actually forget she's only 21. Someone recently reminded me and I was just like, oh wow, she's actually 21. So I feel like she's very young, of course, like very much in love, feels like, you know, maybe Jake is her husband, father of her children, wants to get married, all that type of stuff. So I think it is quite nice that the older girls in the villa are giving her some sound advice to kind of nip it in the bud and get out of your feelings and get into your common sense. So on the other hand, Jake was actually having a conversation with the guys, and then Tobias pulled him for a chat and they're just having a one-to-one, and Tobias was just like, oh, you know, some people in the villa are saying they are saying that, you know, maybe you only said I love you to Liberty as a cop-out. And to be honest, like I did say, Tobias's growth in the villa, chef's kiss, has been very beautiful to see, but of course that did not sit right with Jake at all, and Jake literally stormed off. Like he even left the villa, if I remember. Yeah, he ended up leaving the villa, and even Tobias followed him as well. And I have already said this, I think in my last video, but I also say it again, as much as we definitely do stand Kyla, I won't be surprised if Tobias and Chloe end up winning, because they seem to actually be quite good friends to the people that are in the villa. Like even before Jake ended up storming out of the villa, he went into the toilet and Tobias was like, you know, Jake, are you okay? Like, you know, I'll stand outside, I'll wait outside for you. And that's actually like quite sweet to see. And guys, of course, if you do follow me on Twitter, I did make a tweet. Okay, I did make a tweet. I said, what if? Okay, just what if, not saying I agree, not saying I disagree. This is just a conversation, you know, let me know in the comments what you think. But what if, okay, what if Jake is actually being genuine, but he's getting so frustrated and so irritated because he doesn't necessarily know how to like kind of like articulate himself when it comes to relationships, which is why he hasn't been able to say I love you back just yet. Like what if that's actually the case, and that's why he's annoyed, because he's trying to be genuine and trying to be himself, but people think his true self is fake. I don't know, just a food for thought, honestly, just a food for thought. But then at the same time, I'm definitely doing like for and against, but at the same time as well, if you don't know how to communicate well, why did you ask Liberty to be your girlfriend? Do you get where I'm coming from? Because I feel like the whole situation is a mess right now. So of course Jake ends up coming back and he is on smoke. Jake is on smoke. He's just like,
oh, you know, he said that, I'm getting pissed off, I'm getting angry, I'm getting this.
And he's speaking to Tobias and Teddy, but of course Tobias and Teddy, and this is another thing as well, definitely boyfriend material, because they did not snitch on their girls, and that's how it should be, because if it was Tyler, I don't know if he would have snitched, but in all honesty, like, it was quite nice to see Teddy and Tobias just kind of like nipping it in the bud, like, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, and that's what I mean by Tobias was definitely giving up Dr. Phil advice, because he said you don't want to make it seem as if you're more concerned with how people perceive you than how you actually are towards Liberty's feelings. And that's honestly very like sound advice, and that's why I'm assuming a lot of people in the villa, Sarah, breathe again, but I am assuming again that's why in the villa that a lot of people are just like, oh, you know, he's being fake, because you seem to be more concerned about how people perceive your relationship rather than the person you're actually in a relationship with, and that is very suspect. So moving on again to Faye and Jake, guys, like I said, there's so much to discuss but moving on again to Faye and Jake having a conversation. Faye and Jake were just gonna go like sit down, like Jake was like, oh Faye, like, do you want to go for a chat? And then Chloe was catwalking to them, like Chloe was literally catwalking to him like, oh guys, like, I think I already know what you guys are going to speak about, and I just don't want Faye to get like the whole blunt of it, because clearly Chloe's also the one that said she feels like Jake is a bit somehow. And I'll be honest with you, as much as I do understand that Faye and Chloe both have good intentions, I wasn't too pleased with that whole scene. Like, Faye was like,
if you watch this show back in 3 months or in 6 months, are you going to be proud of the fact that you told Liv that you love her?
Faye, we have not forgotten about your antics, okay? You, and this is another thing as well, Love Island can try, this is just for me personally, okay? You can agree, you can disagree, that's fine. Love Island can definitely try and paint Faye to be like, oh, you know, like, oh, she's a savior, and oh, she's this, and she really cares. That I don't care, okay? That episode of Faye shouting still rings in my head till this day. It's not gonna work. We are actually not gonna forget. Like, what exactly do you mean? Oh, are you going to be proud of yourself? Are you going to be proud of yourself, Faye? Are you actually going to be proud? And it's quite interesting as well, because even with that whole situation that's happened as well, Faye has still been very vocal in the villa, and that's actually quite interesting, because personally, if I was in such an issue like that and Love Island told me, oh yeah, like, I had to apologise for what I'm getting done from the villa, I'm keeping pim with situations that have nothing to do with me. I'm not saying a word, but Faye seems to still have this like confidence and chat and all this type of stuff, and that's not to take anything away from her character or her personality. But I just feel like, given the circumstance of what actually happened on that episode, it just very, very, very interesting. Everyone seems to be so involved and so vocal about this Liberty and Jake situation, but none of you were able to sit down like that with Faye over that. So moving on to the following morning, of course, the girls are always having a chat, but Priya, of course, did update the girls that I think she said her and Brett had a snog, and the girls are like, oh yay, congrats. And you guys already know how I feel about Priya and Brett anyway. We're going to get into them again later on in this review, but for me personally, they just don't give. So moving on later on in the episode, the Islanders get a text that there's going to be, I believe, a couple's dinner, and the guys were going to be the ones to cook. A lot to unpack from that one, so I'm only going to bring up the main bits that happened. First one is Faye doesn't like pasta. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because who doesn't like pasta? Everyone likes pasta. Like, who actually doesn't like pasta? So, you know, we already have our feelings about Faye. That one there again, yeah. So moving on to Tobias and Chloe, of course, they shared a very cute, guys, I can't lie, a very, very, very cute Lady and the Tramp scene. If you don't know about Lady and the Tramp, like, maybe I'm just old, but no, I feel like everyone should know about Lady and the Tramp, when of course they're sharing the spaghetti. And I thought that was quite cute, because I have been saying that Tobias, you know, wow, yeah, Tobias, they're Chloe and Tobias, yeah, that makes sense. I have been saying that Chloe and Tobias have definitely been growing on me, and I just feel like they just come across as being like two little kids, like literally just having fun, doing what they need to do. So I do feel like that was actually quite a cute scene as well. Should we really get into the cooking? Let's get into the cooking. That was not spaghetti carbonara, that was spaghetti with bacon sprinkled on top. Like, I know it's the effort that counts, but that meal, yeah. Moving on to Priya and Brett. Brett, of course, confessed to Priya that he has actually never told anyone that he loves them before. And I think he even said as well, he was just like, oh, like, maybe like you think I'm strange now, or you think I'm a bit weird or something like that. And what I didn't really like you guys already know how I feel about Pri anyway, but what I didn't like was when, of course, the boys ended up going back to the kitchen to maybe like work up the next meal or whatever. She did actually say to the girls like, oh, you know, like, if this was a date on the outside world, that she would have left by now. Like, she just doesn't feel like there's a connection there anymore. And as much as it's okay for you to feel that way, I just felt like that was quite a rude statement or comment to make. Like, yeah, I do find them both boring. That's not going to change, but that's not nice to, like, even if you were on a date on the outside world and you weren't feeling that person, I think it's very rude to just decide to just get up and leave. Like, I would at least wait for the person to come back and then tell them, oh, I don't necessarily feel like this is working. But for you to say that on the outside world, you literally just get up and leave a date just because you don't find the person attractive or you're not interested in them anymore. So of course we know Love Island love a plot twist. You know what, plot twists are needed, because plot twist is what keep us on our toes. But the Islanders ended up getting a text that the couples will have to choose, as in the person that they're in a couple with, you'll have to choose your two least compatible couples, and those two couples, of course, one of them will risk being dumped from the island. Does that make sense? Will risk being dumped for the island? Will be risk. I'm tired. I'll just pick out a few comments that they said because they went around with all the couples to figure out who they wanted to vote. Priya said that she doesn't feel like Aaron and Mary would work on the outside. I think Aaron and Mary very much do, and I feel like they will work on the outside, but hey ho. Aaron was speaking about Faye and Teddy, and I said yes, Aaron is speaking with sense. We love to see it. If there is another thing that I did also tweet about as well, I love that none of the couples had anything negative to say about Kyla and Taz. What did I just say? Yeah, Kyla. Wow, I'm actually mixing up their names. Tyler and Kaz. That's how I know they're meant to be together, guys. It's making sense. But I did love the fact that no one had anything negative to say about them. And I feel like that definitely just goes to show that there is a much deeper connection that the Love Island producers are not showing us. And this is what I mean by I feel like they honestly just need to get their footage together. Because what ends up happening is you guys are clipping a lot of footage from us, and then something drastic ends up happening and people are now trying to put the pieces together in the puzzle. But if you just showed us the clips that we wanted to see, people wouldn't be so confused when they see certain things happening in the villa. This is basic production, guys. Let's get it together. Let's honestly get it together. Well, you guys know we are team Kyla here anyway, so I do feel like that was actually quite nice because it just goes to show us that there is actually a very deep connection there, and not only are we now being able to see it, but the islanders can definitely see it as well, and for that reason Kyla are still very much involved. So yeah, I did think that was actually quite nice. Of course, all of the couples ended up sending their text, and the 3 couples that are completely safe because they received no votes is number 1, Chloe and Tobias, number 2, Kaz and Tyler, and number 3, Millie and Liam. So they were completely safe and completely exempt from being risked of dumped from the island. Guys, I feel like my English today is actually something. I don't know. So finally, the public are given the opportunity to vote, and that's what we love to see. Like, we've been saying this from the get-go every day. Oh, like, your fate is in the hands of your islanders, your fate is in... Okay, what about the public? Okay, what about the people that are actually watching the show? And today, Love Island delivered. So the 4 couples which had the highest votes or being the least compatible were Jake and Liberty, Faye and Teddy, Aaron and Mary, and Priya and Brett. And of course the public were given the opportunity. It was only 15 minutes, by the way, because the show ended at 10:15 today and voting closed at 10:30, so you literally had to be quick. But the public were given the opportunity to vote for their favourite couple, which means that the 2 couples that received the least votes are risked being dumped from the villa. I don't know why I keep stuttering to say that today, but anyway, I know a lot of people voted for Aaron and Mary, and a lot of people also voted for Liberty and Jake, meaning that Faye and Teddy and Priya and Brett, who I believe low-key should actually be in the bottom 2 because they actually both just need to go home at this point. I actually don't understand why they're still in that villa. But yeah, I don't feel like Aaron and Mary are going to go home, and I don't think Liberty and Jake are, so I do think it is going to be between Brett and Priya and Faye and Teddy, and I won't be mad if that is the case. So yeah, guys, in tomorrow's episode we are going to find out who is going to be leaving the villa, and in all honesty I am very happy that Toby and Chloe, Millie and Liam, and Kaz and Tyler were safe, and if anything I think those 3 should actually make it to the finals because they seem to be the least problematic in that villa right now, and everyone else just isn't given. Oh, actually no, I'll add Mary and Aaron to that, but they need to give them more screen time. Like, I think I even tweeted, are Mary and Aaron even in this villa, because we actually do not see them. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, for me anyway, Faye and Teddy on the bottom 2, and Priya and Brett. So yeah, guys, as always, I love to hear you guys' thoughts, your commentary down below in the comment section. Honestly, I love reading you guys' comments. You guys see this as well because I do respond to your comments as well. But I would love to see your comments in the comment section below to find out how you did find that episode. As always, if you haven't yet subscribed, what exactly are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on my socials, my Twitter, and also my Instagram. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Welcome back to another week of reviews. I know that's right. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please do take care, and I shall see you in our next one. Bye.